Siman Chav Zayin Seif Yud Aleph. The Mechaber says, you have to make sure that the black part of the straps are facing outward, and they should not flip around so that the white is not sticking out. Bein shel yad, bein shel rosh, both the shel yad and shel rosh. Now, if you look at the Mishnah Berurah for a second, the Mishnah Berurah says, Im nishapchu midas chasidus hu lasanos. If it flips out, you should fast. So you ask yourself, whoa. First of all, we don't generally fast. I will say this. Ever since the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, we stopped fasting. But anytime there's a chiyuv to fast, it tells you two things. It tells you, or in to fast, it tells you it's severe. And also, most Rabbanim will tell you, at least give the amount of tzedakah to pay for the meals, meaning do something. So if it flips around, it's a problem. So that means that my ritzuas that are hanging down in front of my chest flip around, you got to fast, then we're fasting all day. So Mishnah Berurah says, or lift a stuck, or give tzedakah. The part that we're very, very makbid about is the part of the shel rosh that's literally around the head, not the part that's hanging down, or the part of the arm that first time around. Those is what that ritzu is what we're talking about. So if you find out that the head flipped, which sometimes could happen, that's when there's an Indian potentially to fast. The Mishnah Berurah says, but the rest, they're not super makbid. It's a nice thing to flip it around, meaning if you have the shel rosh in front of your chest is flip outward, yeah, it's midas chasidus to flip it back the proper way, but that's not what we're talking about. When the Mechaber says you have to be careful, he's talking about once around the head and once around the upper arm. It's back to the Mechaber. I saw that, I think they bring down from Rav Avadia, that Rav Avadia was medayik from the Ben Ish Chai, that it could be it's only a problem, the Imam should have to fast, like a chiyuv to fast, if you wore it the whole time that way. But Pashtus from the Mishnah Berurah, I mean, the whole time, so you never had it proper. But from the Mishnah Berurah, it seems that even for a moment, very, very careful that the shel rosh should be put on properly. I will say this. The purpose of having the black on black is to fix this problem. That's that Pashtus. So, yeah, so I don't know. But I will say this, even if you have black on black, if it's flipped around, you should flip it properly. I don't know if there's a chiyuv to fast. So the Mechaber, back to the Mechaber says, Yishalshal haritzuah sheyatlum lefanov, the shel rosh should be hanging in front of you. V'yagia, and how long should the ritzuah of the shel rosh be? Because if you remember in Seif Ches, which is last week, the shel yad ritzuah should be long enough that from the bias should go all the way to the finger, the middle finger, and wrapped around 3 times. Even if it's just once. The minig have 7 times, but that's the length, the minimum length. The length of the shel rosh, the Mechaber says, ad hatibor, it should go to the belly button. A little bit above the belly button. Okay. Roicha v'ritzu is how wide should they be? Shel yad v'shel rosh kairach sa'ir l'pachas. It has to be as wide as a barley. That's the meaning. We don't have Baruch Hashem, ours is very, 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 very thick, but it could happen if it starts to tear. You have to make sure that it's at least a width of a barley that's intact. Says the Mechaber, in pichas meshir oirech haritzuas v'rachban. If the ritzuas are not long enough or they're too narrow, im einay moitzi acheres menichin kamayis shehein hashim zacharis kashir. But if it's all you got, that's all you got. You could still wear them, but it's not l'chachila. Now, one more halacha, and then we'll see the Mishnah Berurah. Tefillin shel rosh toiv liyosem galuyim. The shel rosh should be galui. You should not cover the shel rosh like with a hat. V'nirim aval talmud b'fnei rabbi ein derech eretz l'galas tefillin b'fanav. But a talmud in front of his Rebbe should cover it. Now, you ask a question. I've never seen yeshiva bachrim in front of the Rebbe cover it. So the Ramah will address in a second. Ub'shel yad ein lahakbid him galuyim ochusim. Shel yad, it doesn't really matter if it's covered or not. The nirali says the Ramah, Achshav she'ein manichin ela bizman kriya shema tefillah. Nowadays that we're only wearing tefillin for a short period of time. I feel tam b'fnei rabbi yachol legalas af b'shel rosh. This whole Indian that a Talmud should not wear in front of his Rebbe, that was if you're wearing it all day. But nowadays you're just wearing it for davening. It's more of like it's a tefillah, like a component, and therefore it could be revealed. You could wear your tefillin revealed in front of your Rebbe because we only wear a tefillin for Kriya Shema and Shemona Esrei. V'chein haminig shaloi lizar. And the Ramah says the minig is not to make a Talmud cover his tefillin. And by the way, just if you look in the brackets, who's he quoting? Das Atzmai. I'm quoting myself. It's just interesting. I haven't seen that very often. The Ramah is saying this is my shita. The Mishnah Berurah says, "Ben shel yad, hine b'shel yad shu roya kishu maniach yachal lirish lo yisapchu lo yakeshav liritzua, u'b'shel roish din a roya kishu maniach sav roish yisham heitev biyada." The Mishnah Berurah just says in Eitzah, with the shel roish, oftentimes you can't tell, so you have to feel it, because if you have a lot of hair, you won't be able to tell if it's flipped around. You got to feel it. Now, Ara Tibor, how long should the shel roish be? It should be until the belly button. The Mishnah Berurah says in Mem that it could be longer. There's no problem. Now, if you ever notice that the straps of the shel roish, one is always longer than the other. So the Mishnah Berurah addresses this. Ayim b'chdush Rav Kiva v'chein bar tzachayim demaski d'shel yamin ara tibor v'shel smol ara chaza. That the Rav Kiva says the right side should be to the belly button and the left side should be to the middle of the chest. U'betur kasev sheyamin ara mila v'shel smol ara tibor. Or some say that the right should be till the bris mila and the left side. So the right side is always longer. That's the Messiah of the shel roish. Here he says like this, if you look in Mem Daled, that where is this Mem Daled going on? If your tefillin straps are not long enough to wrap on your arm properly to do the minimum shear, you wear it without a bracha. Okay, fine. Let's go a little weiter. And the last halacha, that the shel roish should be revealed. It says in Mishnah Berurah why? That the whole world will see it and fear you, and that's talking to shel roish. And the truth is the kesher should also be revealed, but that he said no one's makbid, because that the hat usually covers the kesher of the head. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll pick it up tomorrow in position.